Shalom, family. Grace, mercy, and peace be unto you from Yahuwah, our Father, and Yahusha. He is the Mashah Yah, the one that carries the burden of Yah, his voice, our high priest, soon coming King. Hear, O Yeshua, Yahuwah, our mighty one, he is one. This is Brother David coming to you again to present our King, Yahusha. There's the Hebrew script, the ancient letters. You see the first three letters from right to left? That is Yah, Hu. And the last two letters is a Shin and an An. It gives you Shah. Yahu Shah. What does it mean? It means Yahuwah is salvation. He told you that anything you ask the Father for in his name, it shall be given unto you. What are you saying when you say, in the name of Yahusha? You're saying in the name of Yahuwah, who is salvation. He's coming soon, brothers and sisters. Are you ready? He's not coming to hold hands and we sing the Negro spiritual, free at last, free at last. Thank God Almighty, we're free at last. No. He's coming back to take vengeance on all of his and our enemies. Did you know that the same enemies that he has, so do we? Let's begin. Psalms chapter 22, verses 13 to 16. The prophecy. Verse 13. They gaped upon me with their mouths, as a ravening and a roaring lion. Have you ever seen the slavery movies? How they hung our brothers and sisters from trees? How they stood around saying profound things, cursing, and speaking about us as though we were animals? This is what the prophecy is telling you here about our Messiah. Remember, he said, what they did to me, they're also going to do to you. Verse 14. Listen carefully. I am poured out like water, and all my bones are out of joint. My heart is like wax. It is melted in the midst of my bowels. Can you feel the pain? Verse 15. My strength is dried up like a potsherd, and my tongue cleaveth to my jaws. And thou hast brought me into the dust of death. Now you understand how our ancestors here in America, how they felt as they were hanging from these trees. Look what he's going to say in verse 16, something profound. For dogs have encompassed me. They have me surrounded. The assembly of the wicked have enclosed me. They pierced my hands and my feet. Who are these dogs? Is it Yahuda? Well, if you ask the Europeans, they will say that Yahuda killed the Messiah. But in the prophecy is pointing out exactly who the culprits were. the assembly of the wicked. They pierced my hands and feet. Who did that? The Romans. What color is their skin? It is white. What did the prophecy call them? Dogs. Let's continue. Verse 17. I may tell of my bones. They look and stare upon me. I made a video about this. How the white man in this country hung our brothers and sisters from trees. They had parties, celebrations. They brought their children with them. They sold cotton candy and popcorn, had picnics. It was a great event. To watch a black man get hung from a tree, and then they burned him with fire. Took parts of his body, used it as souvenirs. Took pictures with the body, made postcards, sent them around the country to their relatives, boasting of what they have saw that was done to our brothers and sisters. What kind of people could do this? Verse 18. They part my garments among them and cast lots upon my vesture. Here's your answer. The white man did this, even to our brother. Verse 19. But be not thou far from me, O Yahuwah, O my strength. Make haste to help me. Verse 20. Deliver my soul from the sword, O great one, from the power of the dog. Here it is again. Twice in the prophecy, the white man is called a dog. Verse 21. Save me from the lion's mouth, for thou hast heard me from the horns of the unicorn. Now we have established who murdered our brother from the prophecy. Let's fast forward to the New Testament. Matthew chapter 7, verse 6. Give not that which is holy, set apart, unto the dogs. Who is he talking about? He only came for the lost sheep of the house of Yisrael. So who are these dogs? Did not the prophecy tell you? Neither cast you your pearls before swine. Yahuda didn't eat swine, at least until the Romans came and the Greeks. So who is he talking about here that are pigs? Well, who came into the promised land and sacrificed pigs on the altar? The Greeks. Lest they trample them under their feet. Trample what? Your pearls. And turn again and try to tear you to pieces. We've seen this play out. Maybe you didn't know what was happening. It plays out on the comment board. I've said repeatedly The message that I present to you is for my people. It's not for them. Yet they come in anyway. Take the message, trample it under their feet, and then turn and try to tear the teacher to pieces. The same thing that happened then is still happening today. What did the Messiah call them in verse 6? Dogs. Matthew chapter 15, verse 22 to 26. Verse 22. And behold, a woman of Canaan came out of the same coast and cried unto him, saying, Have mercy on me, O Master, thou son of David. She knew who he was. My daughter is grievously vexed with the devil. What does it mean that she came out of the same coast? From the north. Syria, Damascus region. What happened there? The Greeks had came in 300 years before the Messiah came on the scene. They sacrificed pigs on the altar. They forbade our people to make any sacrifices of lambs to Yahuwah. They took away our books. That's how your New Testament became Greek. They told us we could not read them anymore. They forbade you to look up in the sky for the renewed moon, Hidash. They forbade you to keep the Sabbaths or your feast days. They told you you could not circumcise your children. They made us unclean in every way. She came out of that same coast where the Greeks came in for 300 years, and all they did was spread their seed. That's why the people in the region looked the way that they do. Verse 23. But he answered her not a word. And his disciples came and besought him, saying, Send her away. She's crying after us. Verse 24. But he answered and said, I am not sent, but unto the lost sheep of the house of Yeshurun. There's your target group. He didn't come for the Romans, the Greeks, the Africans, the Asians, no other group, but the children that came out of the loins of Jacob. Verse 25. Then came she and worshipped him, saying, Master, help me. Listen to the reply. Verse 26. But he answered and said, It is not right to take the children's bread and to cast it to dogs. Did he just call her a dog? Is this clear to you? I mean, we came from the prophecy. It told us that the Romans were called dogs by our ancestors. Then we come down to the New Testament and we hear Yahusha said, don't cast your pearls to these same dogs. Yeah. Then he called them swine. Now the woman who has come to worship him, he calls her a dog. Let's look at her ethnicity. Mark chapter 7, verse 25 to 28. Yes, her ethnicity is here. Verse 25. For a certain woman whose young daughter had an unclean spirit heard of him, and came and fell at his feet. She humbled herself. This is something that white people cannot do today. They tried to use this passage to tell me that I should speak to them. Let me proclaim something right now. I am not the Messiah. Verse 26. The woman was a Greek. Bingo. A Syrophoenician by nation. The Greeks conquered the land of Phoenicia. And she besought him that he would cast forth the devil out of her daughter. Verse 27. But Yahusha said unto her, let the children first be filled. That's an unending task. For it is not right to take the children's bread and to cast it unto the dogs. Here's your confirmation. He was calling her a dog. Let's see what she had to say. Verse 28. And she answered and said unto him, yes, master. What does that mean? She said, yes, master, I am a dog. Yet the dogs under the table eat of the children's crumbs. Let me speak to the white folks on the channel who wants me to answer their questions and minister to them instead of the children of Yeshua. Have you humbled yourself like this? Have you identified that you and your ancestors were like ravening beasts and still are today? All you have to do is look on the comment board. I have not seen any of the white people on the comment board humble themselves, which would catch my attention for me to answer your question. But instead I see white supremacy. You're better than us. You're on top. We're on the bottom. So you don't even have the ability to humble yourself. But the day is coming. Yahusha's coming. And he's going to destroy all of his and our enemies. Now let's see what he did for this young lady. She asked him for the crumbs that fall from the children's table. He gave her a crumb. He healed her daughter. Note, did he offer her salvation? Did he say that she was privy to any of the promises? Did he say that he was going to take her into the kingdom with him? No. What she received was a crumb. Wake up, brothers and sisters. All of these things are in the Bible. He points out who your enemies are. But because we've been so deceived for so many years, worshiping these people, we can't see who they really are. Philippians chapter 3, verses 1 to 3. Let's see what our brother Shaul had to say. Shaul is the one that you know as Paul. That's right. They took his name and all of our brothers' name out of the book and gave them European names. Said we don't want those Negro names in our book. You know, Shaul, Sharol, Bonquisha, Aisha. Come on, Yahusha. We're taking that stuff out. Verse 3. Finally, my brethren, rejoice in Yahuwah. Who is he speaking to? Who is the target group? Was he speaking to the Romans or the Greeks or the Africans or any other nation? No, he's only speaking to the children of Yisrael. That's why he uses the term my brethren. And if you read further down in the context, you will find out that he gives his bloodline. To write the same things to you, to me, is indeed not grievous, but for you, it is safe. Verse 2. Beware of dogs. I wonder, who is Shaul talking about here? Who can these dogs be? Beware of evil workers. Well, that could be anyone. So many evil workers, aren't there? Beware of the concision. Oh. So the dogs, the evil workers, and concision, speaking about the same people, is it not? Do you see this word concision? If you go to look it up, it means a cutting away. You go to Strong's Concordance, it means a cutting away. You have to learn how to decipher their speech and their words for yourself. You have to break them down in syllables so that you can understand exactly what this means. Look on top. See con? An argument or evidence in opposition. The negative position or one holding it, an appraisal of the pros and cons. So it's someone who's either for it or against it. How do we know whether they're for it or against it? Go to verse 3. Shaul is going to tell you. For we is a pronoun. It describes a person, place, or thing. He's talking about his brethren, the children of Yisrael, or the circumcision. Circum means around. Cision means a cutting away. So it's the cutting away around the head of the penis. So what is concision? It's the negative position, the one in opposition to the circumcision. Who can that be? Who came into the kingdom? Who sacrificed pigs on the altar? Who forbade our people to circumcise their children? It was the Greeks. So beware of dogs, evil workers, and the concision is the white man. Let's go back to verse 3. For we are the circumcision. Do you know some people try to say that Shaul is against circumcision? He is not. It's because they don't know how to read, really. There was a group called the Judaizers who came in, and they had said that in order for anyone to be saved, they have to be circumcised. They put together a whole big council just on this issue. Shaul was saying salvation does not come through circumcision, because if it did, Yahuwah would not have poured out his spirit upon them in advance. He's circumcising the heart. James steps in. And he says, why should we put such a burden upon our brethren, which our forefathers could not even handle? Just think about it now. You're telling the men to go get their penis cut. This was supposed to happen when you were 8 days old. So now you're going to have a prerequisite that in order for you to come back to Yahuwah, you have to have your penis cut first? No. James came up with a solution. Let them learn in all the places where the Torah is read, and there they will be convicted, and let them circumcise themselves on their own. Verse 3 again. For we are the circumcision, which worship the Mighty One in the Spirit, and rejoice in Yahusha, the Mashayah, and have no confidence in the flesh. Do you have confidence in the flesh? Are you on Pope Gregory's calendar? Beware of dogs. Beware of evil workers. Beware of the ones who are against the cutting away. Beware. Yet you're on their calendar. The same Romans that came into the promised land and did all of these things, murdered your brother. You're going to follow them, their religion, their gods, in their time? Revelation chapter 22, verses 14 to 15. Let's see what our brother Yohanathan has to say. They changed his name too. They said his name is John. Verse 14. Blessed are they that do his commandments. Who is blessed? Those who do his commandments. You have to hear it and do it, that they may have the right to the tree of life. You do not have the right to the tree of life if you're serving another Mighty One. If you're on Pope Gregory's calendar, the Sabbaths that you keep, it reveals the Mighty One in which you serve. And may enter in through the gates of the city. You will not enter into the gates of the city. Guaranteed. You will find your bed in the lake of fire. Once we are gathered and brought into the promised land, judgment will ensue. And there you shall find out your fate. And if you want to take that chance, just so that you can keep a Saturday, a Sunday Sabbath, or follow the Jews or the Israelite brothers in the foolishness in which all of those people have fed you, you've made your choice. Here, I put before you today life and death. Choose life. Verse 15. For outside of the city are dogs. Who do you think that is? All of our brothers have told you who the dogs are. And sorcerers. Who's used sorcery on you for 400 years? You know, their pictures in the books. You know, they had Bibles and they gave you pictures of God, and he's a white man. Adam, he's a white man. The apostles, the prophets, everyone is white. And then the number one person, the Messiah, Jesus Christ, he's white. And when we looked upon them, we said, they are the image and the glory of the Mighty One. So we worship them too. They use sorcery on you. Even on their television, it's called Sorcery Tube. And whoremongers. No one fits that bill more than the white man. He's a whoremonger. He's a rapist. He's a homo thug. He promotes nothing but wickedness. He promotes adultery. You watch it on Sorcery Tube, don't you? And murderers. The devil comes but to steal, kill, and destroy. No one has this resume more than the white man. It's in history. It is undeniable. And idolaters. Don't you see the Pope on television kissing a black idol called this Virgin Mary? And they got all kinds of pictures of saints, and they pray to them, and they have that cross. They are the biggest idolaters on the planet, and whosoever loveth and maketh a lie. They are liars. Ask the Indians. They'll tell you. He speaketh with a forked tongue. He makes covenants and breaks them and blames it on you. Matthew chapter 7, verses 19 to 23. Let's move away from the white man. It's time to speak about us, our brothers and our sisters. Verse 19. Every tree that bringeth not forth good fruit is cut down and cast into the fire. He didn't say bad fruit. He didn't say rotten fruit. He said good fruit. You are the tree. If you don't bring forth good fruit, you're going to be cast down and thrown into the lake of fire, brothers and sisters. Would you say good fruit is being on the same calendar and the same time as the people who did all of these atrocities to our Mashaya, to our brothers and sisters, down through the centuries? Would you say bringing forth good fruit is being with the people who took our Father's name out of the book thousands and thousands of times and replaced it with their masters? These are the ones you're going to trust in? If you do, you shall be cut down and cast into the fire. Our brother is coming to take vengeance. After he destroys his enemies, he's coming back for the rebels, the traitors who've gone to the other side. Verse 20. Wherefore by their fruits ye shall know them. What fruits can they show? 12 tribe chart. Making images of a black Christ. Keeping their Sabbaths on Pope Gregory's calendar and defending it. Starting their months to find a feast from the full moon. Unheard of. Never in history has there been anyone who's came up with anything that crazy. And then they came and fed you a name. Yahusha. Verse 21. Not everyone that saith unto me, Master, Master, shall enter into the kingdom of heaven, but he that doeth the will of my Father, which is in heaven. Do you know I found that our people do not know what the will of the Father is? And yet they believe that they're going to go into the kingdom of heaven? In order for you to know, read Isaiah chapter 56, verses 1 to 7. Let me give you a brief overview. And I made a video about it. The gathering of the stranger and the eunuch. The same criteria that Yahuda and the house of Yeshua has to keep is the same that the stranger and the eunuch that will sojourn with us, they have to have this same criteria. What is it? You have to keep his Sabbaths, not Pope Gregory's. You have to keep his commandments, not the white man's or the Israelite brothers. You have to love his name, not the names that they have provided for you. You have to learn it on your own. Once you have met all of that criteria, then you can enter into the kingdom of heaven. Verse 22. Listen carefully. Many will say to me in that day, this is Yahusha speaking, Master, Master, have we not prophesied in thy name? They're saying Jesus. They're saying Christ. They're saying Yahusha. And in thy name have cast out devils. You didn't do anything. You have no power. And in thy name done many wonderful works. We built a great kingdom right here in America. In your name. In the name of Jesus. In the name of Christ. In the name of Yahusha. Look at his response. Verse 23. And then I will profess unto them, I never knew you. You're calling on the wrong person. His name is Yahusha, which means Yahuwah is salvation. Who knows what Yahusha means? Depart from me, you that work iniquity. Don't get all the way to that point and have this said to you because you decide to follow and not seek. He said, if you seek me, you will find me if you first search for me with all your heart, your mind, and your soul. Here's the question. Have you done that? Don't delude yourself into thinking that you have. Your soul is at stake. Brothers and sisters, this is a revelation for you. Your book, if you know how to read it and overcome the leaven of the Europeans, you will find out that our ancestors had no reverence for the white man like you do. They called them dogs. Shalom.